the button.
Is pushed? You have pressed the button.
I was
Well, I
tired,
guess
so I took a nap, and then I pressed the button.
Z button? Not any key? Oh, okay. So I do the intro now?
I mean, if you want to.
Hi, this is Elizabeth running GURPS Wars, and with Crash and EO and Ellie, and it's a homebrew GURPS Star Wars game, and someone can tell me what happened last time? I mean, I think I remember, but do you people remember?
We took a job to move gravel from point A to point B, and to move a scientist from point A to point A.
I think you were going to talk to a passenger who wanted to go to Alderaan and actually has credits.
Wait, we can get credits doing
we
this?
talked to them.
Ellie?
I thought we had talked to them. Did we just talk to the researcher?
I think you've only talked to the researcher by the time we ended off, yeah. The researcher who was very tired.
Well, okay, that's right. Well, I'm more than happy to go to Alderaan. So, unless they have more than a couple tons of luggage.
No, only... Well, there's a lot of luggage, but it's not a couple tons. It would probably, half fill one of your cargo bays there.
Is their luggage a couple tons of gravel? Because we don't want to mix up the two gravels.
Oh, right, we've got gravel.
Also, we buried the lead. The most important thing that happened last session was a shopping montage.
Uh-huh.
Ah, that too.
Yes.
Zolrak acquired clothing that was suitably interesting and colorful, and that everyone else disapproves of. The degree of deliberateness of this is as yet unknown.
The little lizard
Zolrak thinks it is suitable clothing.
The little lizard people thought it was great. They admired Zwolrock's taste at every turn.
The only reason why Rotini objects to it is Rotini thinks that the proper way to dress is you cover up everything and only the gleam of your eyes should be seen by anyone. But Rotini has not been able to convince anyone of this, so, you find your bliss. If your bliss involves spangles and glitter, just don't sit on Rotini's chair, because that glitter will not wash out.
There's not that much glitter.
Define that much. I love that things went quiet after I said that.
No one wishes to define it. It is indefinable.
I know that the player behind Rotini feels that one speck of glitter is too much glitter. However, there may be overlap. Rotini may or may not, at some point, some moment of weakness, have created a glitter bomb, but only because Rotini wished to try out war crimes. Just to see how it goes.
Glitter bombs are war crimes.
Oh yeah. I think there was a tree that was signed on the planet Geneva that outlawed specifically using glitter.
But is the Sith Empire a party to that treaty?
Well, looking at the
use
output
glitter
that Rocky is wearing, the answer is no. They were not a party to that treaty.
Wolrock thinks that this Wolrock has successfully acquired modern clothing that is suitably eye-catching. Everyone else thinks that they are attempting to be deeply serious and dignified in the space equivalent of a floral print shirt and sunglasses. They're aware that everyone else is having this reaction. They just think that the vast majority of the galaxy does not have a clothing taste worth considering.
Floral print shirt, sunglasses, and the large glob of white sunscreen on your nose. And possibly cargo shorts.
Utilikilt. And spangling colors.
Utilikilt. Yes.
And spangling colors? In a nice paisley glitter print?
Whatever Rotini's opinion of this, the player is here for this content.
Sorry, what did you just say?
A utilikilt in, say, pastel paisley colors and glitter.
No.
No utilikilts?
No.
Well, they have pockets.
Utilikilts.
Oh, darn. They have pockets.
That
Anyway.
is not where pockets go.
Not with that attitude.
So, are you going to negotiate with the person who wants to go to Alderaan, or are you going to just say, hey, show up if you feel like it?
I don't, I'll say, this is when we're planning to leave. If actually, yeah, that's what I'll say. This is when we're planning to leave. We can load your cargo, but if you're ready by then, we can take you.
Can pay what you are asking is provided you're not asking hugely much, i.e., they are willing to ship out on a small freighter of presumably Spartan at best accommodations, despite the fact that their hotel room is located in the firm middle of the expensive rooms section, and they can in fact bring their stuff and meet at the appropriate location, which is probably the intro to the passage that you walk to get to your ship. I presume that's where you want to meet people, or do you want them to just trundle down and...
No, we'll meet people there.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, right. I can roll dice. I like to roll dice. Let's roll some dice. What dice can I roll? What dice?
All the dice. You can roll all the dice. Okay, those are numbers.
Let's roll some more numbers. Right. Okay, so the first thing that shows up is some droids with a bunch of cargo bins from... You were taking the gravels, I recall, right?
Yes.
Well, that's what shows up first, is a whole bunch of cargo bins of gravel that will probably fill like at least 3/4 of one of your cargo bays there.
It's like macro sand.
Basically, yeah. At least that's what it's all labeled as. I don't know what you want, if you want to do anything with it or just send the droid on with somebody to load it up.
I need to double check something. Where do the holds load from?
The look of the thing, you can certainly load them through the airlock and the hallways and into the thing. It looks like there's a couple of little hatch there's that probably hook up from the bottom. You can probably open a port and just elevator the stuff up, I would assume, because it'd be kind of stupid otherwise, I think.
Yeah, if it's in containers, then yeah, I'll bring it in through the hatches, not through the main body of the ship.
Okay. That will basically mean that they get schlepped out through the tunnel to where you parked, the outer parking lot there, and droids will run it through the vacuum thing and load it up through the presumably airlock elevator. They will stick a tube on there and load the stuff up. I mean, also their cargo holds, I suspect that you can depressurize them or low pressure so that you don't lose atmosphere that way. So you're just sending those on?
Yeah. I'm sort of making an assumption here.
Okay.
Which is that since we picked this job and nobody knew we were coming here, they're probably not trying to kill us.
You can certainly make that assumption if you want.
I mean, we've had plenty of people who didn't know us try to kill us over the years.
It's true. And we've had... it's possible that whoever's shipping this gravel just wants to kill somebody. Maybe I better inspect the gravel.
I've never seen a death by gravel before. Wait, no, gravel is shrapnel. I have seen.
Yeah, well, there's death by gravel, and then there's death by thermal detonator concealed in the gravel.
Potato.
I would think that if they are shipping gravel with explosives in it, the explosives are meant for the recipient of the gravel and not the transporter of the gravel.
Sure, but again, if they just want to kill somebody and they don't care who it is, then ship lost in hyperspace, I mean, it doesn't happen every day, but it's not unknown.
Rotini would make a comment about most individuals don't just try to detonate explosives randomly, but then Rotini realizes that Rotini would do such a thing, so this comment is not made.
How do you intend to inspect the gravel?
Scanner.
Okay.
Pokey stick.
Well, which one? Which one are you starting with?
Scanner.
I'm starting with the pokey stick.
Why does this not... Dear character sheet. There we go. Sorry, just had to expand the character sheet there. All right. So you've got a scanner. That That's certainly a scanner you've got there. What skill do you plan to use with your scanner?
That's a good question. I would say electronics operation,
Although
although I'm specialized into onboard systems.
Mm-hmm. So it's not an onboard system that you're using to scan, it's a hand scanner. I would call that a -2.
I'm sorry, but for some reason, Ellie has pressed the left arrow several times on her keyboard. So I just see Zisha firing forward out of the cockpit into space.
I did not mean to roll. I was trying to click on the Foundry window and accidentally rolled dice.
Always
That's
useful
fine.
to have these things.
I'm more amused that we fired the Zeely. Not Zeely, the Zisha. If Zeely shows up here, I have concerns.
You should.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be nice to have someone responsible on this ship. We're all overconfident.
You are.
Actually, let's face it, Zeely is also overconfident.
Yes.
Yes.
Very. Do not
Zeely
look
would
at
fit
her for
right
that
in.
kind of reason and sense.
The answer, by the way, is that the left key on my keyboard, my mechanical keyboard, is especially easy to pull off. And so I have developed a terrible habit of fiddling with it.
I remember this, and yet the result of you doing this is still amusing, because apparently we have a secret hidden weapon
that catapults people out of the cockpit?
The Zisha Trebuchet. It's like an ejection seat, but it only fires forward.
Possibly dangerous.
Also, once again, a mangonel.
I'm not saying that Zisha has at any point given Rotini permission to install such a thing. It's quite possible that this was vetoed in a not uncertain manner. Kindly, because we're colleagues.
Mm-hmm. Zisha has
but
made
still vetoed.
Zisha is also made by 7, I see. And okay, there are no explosives in this here rock. Rock looks fine. There's rock here, and there's rock in this one, and there's rock in this one. Look at all this rock. Yep, there's rock in this one here, and probably some dust too while we're at it. And there's this other there's this one here, and okay, as you are getting to the last one, presumably the old Iranian is showing up in a whole bunch of robes and well, that sure is a lot of clothes. You're not sure if they're actually just dressed like that or if they're wearing half their wardrobe because they couldn't fit it into the suitcases that, well, it may be a tight fit for them. They do seem to have a lot of suitcases, perhaps a quarter cargo bay's worth of luggage.
I mean, wearing all of your clothes on a trip is a great way to keep your carry-on and checked luggage down.
Indeed. Maybe that's why they're doing that.
Wolrock approves of their fashion sense.
It's not as...
I love this coming from the most serious character on this ship.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, Zisha, there seem to be some organics in this here cargo container that you've got in the last one.
Is it tea?
Okay. Is the all right. Is the gravel client present?
The gravel client is not present unless you specifically ask them to be present.
Okay.
Did you ask them to be present?
Probably not.
Okay, they are not specifically present here. They're droids. The droids appear to be just station droids that were presumably rented from the station to bring the cargo. They will load the cargo once you tell them it's fine to go. They are not mouthy droids.
All right. Then can we raise the gravel client by comm? Do we have their comm?
Yes, you have their
address?
comm. Sure,
okay.
You can do that. Oops. Is that me?
Then
no,
I am going to welcome the Alderanian aboard and ask Dvorak to contact the gravel client by comm and inquire whether they are aware that there are organic contaminants in one of their containers of gravel.
Understood.
Okay. The Alderanian client, I will give their name here, is Telmer Drawday, who does not have a terribly obvious gender one way or another, and indeed has not provided any hint of pronouns. And is very much, it's like,
Telmer Drade's pronouns are Telmer Drade.
Well, it might be Telmor / Draw Day. I mean, Alderanians can get very fascinating with their fashion sense at times, and pronouns are part of this, especially in this era. So there. They wave. They say, it's lovely to have a ship that's actually going in a direction that isn't out to wild space or into hut space. So, do I load my baggage up? Do I send the droids on to load the baggage up? Do I get a stateroom? Am I in a general passenger room? Am I going to have to share do I have to share a room?
Your room is currently in a state.
Oh no.
No.
No, that is Rotini's comment that I typed in the chat.
Yes.
So unless they speak
how
Jawa,
far is it to
they might
Alderaan?
not-
How far is it to Alderaan? In hyperspace days.
In hyperspace days. Probably in, well, you can get to the gravel location on the way, so that might add a little bit. It's probably, call it 10 days if you hit the slower hyperlanes, and you might be able to make it faster, but you'd have to not go to the gravel planet first.
Oh, okay. No, does
that sound about right? Okay.
Plenty. I can do 10 days in a bunk. In fact, you have my quarters for the duration of the trip. Why don't I show you?
You are so wonderful. Excellent. Come along, little droids. All right, just let me type in this stuff so that I have the there. No, you do not have. It's a typo. It's life support, not live support.
Look,
It's
the
a
map
typo.
says live support. So I'm
Yes, it does.
assuming
No.
you open the door to room 6 for the map of our ship, and there's someone there sitting at a desk or something. It's like, hello, how may I assist you today?
No, it's a computer terminal with one of those, with a browser window and one of those little things in the corner saying, if you would like to chat with an agent.
That sounds very
I hate
plausible,
these
really.
things. Why the keyboards always have all the letters in alphabetical order? Who does that?
Okay, so Zorak, you have the comm, and hopefully someone labeled which one you're supposed to be calling for the gravel person.
Yeah, I'll stick a space post-it note.
This Walrock will call the indicated comm code.
The indicated comm code has, well, that sure is an alien. You've seen aliens like that around. And that, I mean, this looks mostly like a human, but they're wearing a veil in front of their face.
That's one of the Mira people.
Mira Luca.
Luca, yeah.
Mira Luca are the ones who see with the Force. Miri Allens are the green ones. Yes.
Yes.
Or the Mira people, yes.
And I am trying to remember what our ship is named.
The not Millennium Falcon.
Bucephalus.
That is not what our ship is.
Bucephalus.
Nerfcephalus. Yes. Nerf head.
This is the Bucephalus, which you have contracted to deliver your gravel. Does your gravel contain organic materials?
It should not. There should be 5 large containers there.
How
That's
many
no
containers
large
do we
containers, right?
There are 6 large containers.
5.
5.
Not a 6th.
Not unless the containers were a smaller size than the station promised, and they had to put the extra into another one.
Or got frisky.
Rotini is going to the 6th container, the one with the organic components in it, and preparing.
Does the 6th
Rotini's
one also have
punky
gravel in
stick.
it?
The 6th one appears to have inorganic material of rocks and such the same. You're poking it with a stick. What are you doing with your stick, Rotini?
I'm checking to see what else is in it besides gravel, because I was told that there's organic.
You're going to open it? You're going to open this here crate?
I mean, we already used a sensor scan.
I assume you scanned through the stuff, through the metal, as opposed to opening them up and sticking it in.
Yeah.
That's a...
And
Zisha?
And I
Yes.
know that you asked, "Are you opening it?" And that sets off a bunch of warning flags in the player's mind. However, I
I'm
know
just asking.
who I'm playing.
Impulsive.
So yes, Rotini is going to have the pointy stick at the ready and open up the crate to poke into the crate with the pointy stick.
Your
Okay.
droids delivered 5 crates of inorganic rock and 1 crate of inorganic rock and organic material.
Are you sure that it scans as one of mine? The person on the other end of the holo with the veil in front of their face makes vague, confused gestures. If there's any organic material in there, then it's not mine. It would contaminate the process. Might even be a hazard, actually, if it might get someone caught by customs. There aren't supposed to be any organics coming onto the planet. You're poking. You rolled a 10.
I didn't roll a 10.
Oh, you didn't roll. Oh, roll. Oh no, that's when I was accidentally in yours. Yes, do a roll.
Yeah. But
You rolled
I
a
rolled a 10.
You rolled a
Now I have rolled a 10. You're welcome. Now I'm checking to
With,
see if
in
something's
fact,
hidden.
the same dice.
Yes. Now I'm checking to see if something's hidden in it. So, question for the GM, does that mean that I could use my recently leveled up holdout ability, which is usually used for hiding things, but this is like reverse hiding things. It's seeking.
Let me just check one little quick thing to see if there's a. Well, oops. Let me make a roll, because you actually could do search at a default of IQ -5, so that would make it. You can bump down to something that when you pull the stick back, it has some kind of weird goo on it.
Ew. I try to wipe the stick off on the gravel that's in the crate because this is my good pointy stick. I want it back.
You now have gravel and dust adhering to your pointy stick.
Well, that's not going to do.
You're gonna have to wash it.
I don't wanna. Okay, I put the pointy stick in the crate and close it, and I go to find Zisha to let Zisha know that someone sneezed in the gravel.
It's just like, oh god.
Well, if we are contracted to deliver gravel and you do not desire organic material delivered, then your droids should probably return and take charge of the organic material once again.
Tell the droids to offload the one that has organic material and they can just take it back wherever. How big are the crates? You know, they're a standard
go by the
crate
map,
size.
they're companion cube sized.
I will go and ask the captain and engineer.
The crate size that the dimensions that I was given were rattles off some units. There should be 5 of those. If there's anything extra and it has organics, it might not be mine. Perhaps it's someone else's. The droids may have gotten it wrong. So do what you want with the bad crate, and so long as the crates are the good ones are big enough. Terribly sorry about all this. 5 crates. 5 crates are mine. I don't know what the 6th one is.
Understood. I shall go and inform them.
Very good. Pull out.
Wait, maybe this gravel is like a litter box? Do Khajiit exist in the Star Wars universe?
Khajiit? No. Other species that might be considered felinoid? Yes.
Okay,
including
so
the bad cats.
The 6th crate might actually be a toilet.
Not impossible.
I am going to attempt to meet up with the rest of the party where the crate is.
Did you bring the crate along or to load them in, or did you leave that crate waiting at the end of the access tunnel to the ship? Or leave all the gravel droids there? I mean, basically, remember you had an access tunnel that got to where you parked the ship, and then it connected to the station. And I was assuming that was where you were meeting everybody instead of just having stuff.
I would have inspected all the crates before they got anywhere near the ship.
Quite reasonable. Are you inspecting the Alderaanian's cargo before or after it gets on the ship?
How much is the Alderaanian paying me?
The Alderaanian is paying you a pretty standard fare for the amount of space they're taking up, but not like hugely overpaying or hugely underpaying. They actually seem to know the price, usual price.
Then the Alderaanian is paying me enough not to ask questions.
Okay.
I
just
may do a quick surreptitious scan.
Okay, give me a quick surreptitious. Well, they don't seem to have any explosives in there. They've got organics of various kinds. They've got inorganics, obviously. They've got, a computer set up.
If you want to try poking it with a stick, you're going to have to use your own. I lost my good pointy stick. It looks like somebody sneezed on it and covered it in gravel.
Yeah, I don't need any more of an inspection than that. But I am going to return to the crates of gravel.
Okay. You have left your Alderaanian unpacking a few things in your quarters.
Yeah.
That's room 13 on the map, I believe.
They're hanging up posters.
I thought 12 was
13, you're right.
Yeah. 13 has the, the desk and the sofa and whatnot. So, yes. They have called this quaint. They have thanked you for your hospitality, and they're getting out just a few items to make the place a bit more homey.
Sure.
So,
what's the name of the person in room 13?
That is Telmer Drawday.
Okay. I will move them to room 13.
It's the room with, excuse me, the private pressure in the single bed.
Yep. I mean, it might have a bunk bed that you could fold down above the regular one, but probably doesn't have that folded down most of the time.
If they want a cot, that costs extra.
Just leave your tray outside the door in the morning. All right, I'm going to examine the crates of gravel to see if there are any visible differences between the good crates and the known bad crate.
Okay, I would like a IQ or perception roll, whichever one's higher.
Of the 13 and the 13, I'll pick the 13.
All right. Once you look through, you scan their ID numbers, etc. 5 of them are, in fact, in consecutive barcode IDs, and the 6th one is not.
And the 6th one is the one with the organics in it.
Yep.
Zesha.
Yes.
The person who wants the gravel delivered, it says there should only be 5 crates.
Oh, well, that makes this easy. Will you two please take this back to wherever you got it? It's not included with the shipment.
Complimentary crate, sir? Says the droid.
I am certain that is not how deliveries work.
I don't need a complimentary crate of gravel. I've got plenty of shrapnel already. I mean, plenty of things that I can use for my non-explosive hobbies that don't injure anyone already. But all this comes out as Utini, so.
The droids start unloading the rejected crate and leave it in the hallway, set it in the hallway. Deliver other crates now, sir?
Yes, place the 5 crates that are still on the loader into the port cargo bay.
Yes, sir. They trundle off. The port cargo bay is cargo bay 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
If this was a different game, I would assume that 6th crate is a mimic.
Just
that would explain why it's slimy.
It wasn't slimy until someone poked a stick in, and it wasn't slimy in all the locations, just you poke the stick in, you poke the stick in, you poke the stick in, and then it came out slimy. The end of it came out slimy. It wasn't like slimy all the way, just, enough. Okay. As the droids are trundling off, and the crate is sitting there, oh, look! It appears to be that researcher person, Nedra, who showed up. And I will give her, post her name and type. Hi, I didn't oversleep, did I? This is the right place. You're the Twi'lek? Right, great. I've got my suitcase here. It's a little rolly suitcase. I mean, it's not little. It's a big suitcase, but it's on rollers and sort of dragging it along.
Compared to the Alderaanians, it's little.
It's tiny compared to the Alderaanian stuff. The Alderaanian had their own droids with a hover float, with a hover
no pallet. Utini that suitcase is big enough that I could sit inside of it.
Yes, you could sit inside of it. But compared to the Alderaanian stuff, it's minuscule. Oh god, that's too cute. Oh no.
That looks like that dog had their leash attached to that suitcase so that they could not wander off.
And now they're taking the suitcase with them. At least the suitcase has a tag on it, and presumably they can call whoever is on the tag.
I strongly suspect there's something about this that's staged, because a dog that size could probably not pull a full suitcase that size.
Depends on how good the wheels are. If the wheels are turned well enough, it's not that heavy, but I could see a reasonable chance that it could get going. So it's adorable. Anyway, the researcher, Ms. Elaton, it's like, hi, okay, so I go down the corridor or wow, it's been a while since I've actually been traveling on independent ships. Hi, I'm Nedra. You knew that. And you're Z-Ship, right?
That's right.
Glad to meet you.
Why don't you come with me?
Thanks.
On board.
Yay.
Rollrock, would you make sure those droids don't try and put that last crate on the ship, please?
Sorry, I was muted. Indeed.
I just have this mental image that I do not assume is canon in any way, shape, or form of the droids taking the 6th crate and putting it on the loading dock, and then Rocky uses the Force to put the crate back when the droids turn to get the next crate. And this loops for way longer than it should. But I'm not saying that should be canon in any way. It just amuses me.
Alas, the droids unloaded the thing and took their little cargo pallet. They basically left it at the vestibule that leads into the access tunnel that leads to the ship. So it has just been kind of abandoned there because apparently nobody wants this crate. So if someone steals it, the droids go, yay, they don't have to deal with it anymore, apparently.
It's like furniture that's been left by the dumpster but not put in the dumpster.
Pretty much.
Now I'm curious about the crate.
Well, Zwolrock,
like
you're
I said
there to
in
make
chat,
sure that crate doesn't get loaded.
If the gravel crates end up being this campaign's green circle, I am okay with it.
I am going to let Nedra know that she can crash on the couch in the lounge, or she can sleep on one of the bunks in the crew quarters, or she can sleep in one of the bunks outside the cockpit. She has her choice.
Okay.
But we're going to put her luggage in the forward cargo hold.
Okay. The port and starboard cargo hold do appear to have bunk things in them, presumably in case somebody needs to sleep in there for some reason, like you're hauling refugees or something. So those are also potential options if you feel like it.
Okay, yeah, and I am going to have the crates of gravel and the Alderaanians' belongings webbed into place.
Okay.
So they don't shift during travel.
All right, so you're putting the Alderaanians'
I'm putting the Alderaanian stuff in 15, and I'm putting the gravel in 20.
Okay, let me note down.
And if that's the case, if Nedra wants to sleep in one of the cargo holds, 20 is probably the better bet.
Mm-hmm. It won't have. She's fine with wherever you put her, but she has a lot of trouble sleeping. She's always tired, but then she just wakes up at every little thing. So if the cargo hold is private, that'd be great.
Cargo hold is private, and there might be a little rattling from the gravel, but that might just be white noise for you.
Well, it's worth a try, and I've got earplugs, and the earplugs kind of help, but everything's been just so loud that it goes right through the earplugs, I guess.
Oh, and you're going to be right next to engineering, and so I hear the engine hum. It's not. Well, no, it's not audible, but it hums through the deck, and it feels nice when you sleep, I'm told.
Well,
you might as well try it for a night.
That's right. I might as well try it. I mean, it probably can't be worse than the room I had. That I don't know what was going on. Like, just so many people talking, and I could just always hear it. Great, thanks.
I've slept on Nar Shaddaa I understand where you're coming from.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like it'd be at least as bad. Great,
Oh,
thanks.
speaking of which,
Yeah,
I need to go talk to our engineer. I will leave you to get settled.
great, thanks. And the fresher is
Oh, it's just go to the cockpit and then it's here. I'll show you.
great. She will leave her luggage in cargo bay 20 and follow you off like a bleary little something.
I will show her where the
Yeah, up there with
I guess the
spare bucks.
right, exactly.
Thanks, great. Yeah. Oh, not really. Yeah, okay. Great. Thank you so much. I think I'll go lie down if that's okay.
Of course.
Thanks.
And I'm going to go tell Rotini to temporarily turn down the ship-wide alarm in 13 and not make it the priority target for the ship-wide alarm.
Done.
Instead, put the priority target in 2.
I mean, previously the priority target was ship. But if you want to make exceptions for room 13, I can make an exception for room 13 with a reminder that we change it back when our VIP passenger is no longer there. Because you don't want to be that captain where the alarm's going off and you sleep through it because we muted it the night before.
Pretty much. No, I figure the way I've set the ship up to work is if there's an alarm going off, it should go off in the captain's quarters first, and then if the captain needs the crew, she'll hit the all alert.
And Rotini understands this and followed your directions when tinkering with the systems. But first is a word that has very clear definitions that
the alarm goes off in 13 1 second before it goes off in 12.
A whole second? Okay, I need to make some adjustments. 1 nanosecond later, it goes off on the rest of the ship. It's just enough of a difference that it's not like a speech jammer, and you can write it off as an echo, but it wasn't an echo, my friends.
By the way, what is Zulrock doing regarding the crate? I mean, you could just traipse down and be in the access tunnel and make sure the droids don't come back for it. You can leave it there. You could poke at it. You were told not to let it on the ship. I don't know what you're going to do beyond that.
Well, the droids do not seem to be attempting to load it onto the ship.
They have abandoned it in the vestibule before the access tunnel and have walked off down the access tunnel, trundling along with all the authorized crates.
And they do not seem interested in taking it back where it came from.
Not at the moment. They haven't come back yet to, they're loading the other crates on, so depends on how long you're going to wait for them.
I am going to wait until they have loaded the other crates.
Okay. You're waiting in the vestibule?
Yes. I am watching the crate that is not allowed on the ship.
Okay. Give me a perception roll, just in case the crate does anything. The crate sits there, and sits there, and sits there, and sits there, and and it may, or something feels a little weird about that crate now that you're staring at it.
Feels weird in a normal way or in a force way?
Isn't the force normal for you?
Well, yes, but I'm fairly sure that there is a distinction between something looks off about it and the crate has a force presence. And I am asking which it is.
It's not like the crate has a force presence, but like something with a force presence has an interest in the crate, and it's not you.
I am going to go open the crate.
So it's not Jedi Master Gravel Crate. Which would be very funny if it ends up having a fight with Rocky.
And there aren't any Horta in this universe that anyone knows about, so...
Hey, Zulrock, get the IDs of those droids, would you?
All right, but first I need to investigate this.
Okay, you open the thing. There's rock in there. There's a pointy stick on top that has, the end of it's kind of sticky and has gravel and, gravel dust stuck to it.
Imagine, if you will, a very large worst Pocky.
Worst rock candy.
I am going to, can I reach out and attempt to telekinetically feel around in there?
I think I would give that a -3 for, I mean, you can, but it's sort of not how things usually work. You're either usually trying to sense things or you're trying to move things. So call it a -3 to your teak roll then.
Let me dig up where that is not the right app. It is not in Google Sheets. It is in Numbers.
Didn't get loaded into your character sheet there.
No, not yet.
You'll get to it.
Yeah.
I mean, push comes to shove, I have a variety of things that we can feed to the grapple crate to make sure it doesn't harm anyone ever again.
You never know. It might just burp real hard. I truly appreciate all of these chest mimic.
That makes by 2 with the penalty.
Okay. Fairly about in the middle of the crate's nice coating of gravel, gravel below, gravel above. There is something that is large and soft isn't the right word, but a different consistency from the rock. It's
I would
probably
like to withdraw the squishy thing.
okay.
That's
You're
definitely
going
going
to
to be
pull
an
it
out of
out?
context quote.
Yep.
I would like another roll to a pure teak roll to establish how much strength you are working with as you withdraw this thing.
Makes by 3.
Okay, it's not moving very quickly. You have a kind of poor mental grasp on it. The rocks shudder and sort of move around, and you have to drag it out past the rocks, and it's very annoying. It's like somebody put this thing in here and then they put rock on top of it. Why would people do that? Why are people like this? It's very inconvenient. Was this done just to inconvenience you? Oh, look, here's some of the soft, squishy thing. It's sort of a iridescent-y, gray, rounded, squishy bit that just came out of the rock there.
Fascinating. I have no idea what to do with this.
See if I can get a nice little picture that would be good and okay. Okay. Paste image. It looks like that, but an iridescent gray, basically. You have and it's about the size of Rotini, maybe a little bigger.
It's a metapod.
So it looks like an iridescent gray chrysalis slug thing.
Yeah.
I hand Rocky a small sphere that is, one side of it is colored red, one side of it is colored white, and say, here, throw this at it.
Are you there, Rotini?
Oh, this is intriguing. I've never seen someone use the Force to play with gravel before.
I see. You went back to find out what Rocky was doing?
Well, yeah.
Or have you been hanging out with Rocky all the time? Oh, well, okay.
Well, there were other things that needed to be done. I was told to mess with the ship alarm system. That was an easy fix. I just had to change a setting and then make sure I click apply and then click save changes. Yes, I'm sure to save changes. Yes, I'm sure that I'm sure to save the changes. No, I don't want to also install the software when I save the changes. But that didn't take very long. And everything else was just dealing with the passengers, and I don't wanna. So I went outside to see Rocky because I refused to try to pronounce their name correctly, using the Force to play with gravel. And it looks like they found some type of chrysalis inside of it, which, hey, that's kind of cool. But also...
There's also a slight hole that's leaking sort of blackish goo out of it. Since somebody stabbed it.
That was like it. It was like that when Rocky pulled it out. It probably is a puncture caused by friction with the gravel.
And also a pointy stick.
That pointy stick could have been anyone's.
I should
Don't look at the monogram.
Attempt to repair the object.
Is up to you. You can try.
That's
a 7.
That makes by 8 to heal. And I believe that requires spending fatigue.
Yep. How much fatigue are you burning on that?
I don't know how much I need to.
What does it say? Where's the crypt I leave my... Let me just open. No, not that. Give me that. Give me my... Come on, where's my... Oh, for God's sake, tell me... There you are. Okay, let me just do a quick scroll and see what the healing... It's probably only done like at most 2 or 3 hit points, so...
Then I will contribute 1 fatigue to heal 2 points of damage.
Okay. It seals up. There's a slight indentation, but it is sealed up. Give me a perception roll.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Miss. Fine. Well, you have a less damaged... I mean, it looks sort of like maybe, color slug egg-ish thing, only not quite as eggy as theirs get. Maybe. Kinda.
I just rolled perception and beat it by 2.
It looks like it's pulsing slightly, maybe. Kinda.
Yeah, I'm overconfident, but not enough that I want to take an unknown chrysalis disguised as a gravel pit onto our ship. I want to categorize this as someone else's problem. If it's a good thing, it's been healed. If it's a bad thing, it's going to be someone else's problem on this space station on the edge of wild space.
Can I roll sense emotion on it?
You certainly can try.
Oh no, I'm doing putting my brain on everything.
It looks like
it's by 5.
The thing itself doesn't seem to have emotions, but I mean, it has emotions, but they aren't its emotion. You're sensing interest, wariness, but it's not like the thing is having its own emotions. It's like those emotions are what are being... It's like if you were sensing emotions of someone who had gotten mind tricked.
It has someone else's emotions. Fascinating.
So I'm in the cockpit doing all the pre-flight stuff.
The
Just let me know.
droids... Yep, the droids are doing the, okay, everything's loaded up, everything's secure, you can check it if you want, sir. Are we free to go now, sir?
Rotini's probably also followed through with what Zisha wanted and gotten their ID numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Since
Yep,
Rotini
okay.
was not actually using the Force to lift anything up or heal it or do anything else that, if I worded it a different way, could be something that is attempted at a revival in a tent.
All you've done is poke it.
I provided a valuable service. If I had not poked it, then Rocky wouldn't have been able to use Force powers to heal it.
Don't know if that's how that works, but sure.
Look, if Rotini has to rewrite cause and effect in his own head in order to come out looking better to help assert why he's so darned overconfident, then that is something Rotini is going to do.
Okay.
But having gotten the numbers off of the droids and seen the chrysalis and probably vocally pointed out to the only person in this hangar who understands Jawa, hey, if we take this on the ship, it's probably going to eat our faces or something. Let's leave it to be somebody else's problem. We got paying customers and gravel that doesn't have bugs in it.
Heck with it, mind probe.
Or we could do that.
Makes
feel
my
like-
You know,
7.
I'm seeing you roll, but I'm not seeing the rolls show up like, oh, now I am. Weird.
I had to reload.
No,
Okay.
I didn't have to reload. They just all popped up.
You just had to talk about it.
Yeah. I had to complain to the repairman.
That's right. That's the only way anything works is, you have to actually talk about how it's not working, and then it goes, oh, right, I got to work.
I missed
That's-
my laptop.
Oh. Okay, so the thing does not... It's like there's not really much of a mind there. You've mind... if you mind probed some, like a color slug, that's kind of what you feel like this would be. Except that there is, in fact, another mind that is there that is constantly mind tricking it. Maybe. Paying attention to it. Interest. Wariness. They're not things you felt normally. And you don't have quite enough of a channel to get actual word thoughts but there's a concept of interest, pay attention, interest.
I was growling.
Reasonable.
I do not like this thing, but nor do I like leaving it, as someone attempted to sneak it onto our ship.
I'm still holding that sphere that's half red and half white. I say Utini, which translates to, I have a 30-second bomb. I assume if I use
What?
it small
Hey,
enough...
Rotini, Drollrock.
That's everybody. Zisha first?
Rotini, Drollrock, where are we with the gravel?
I have found an organic object that a Force user is contacting the mind of.
Such as it is, if you can call it a mind.
Well, that's extremely creepy. Is it coming through that I'm on the comm?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That or talking into a tin can where Rotini is holding the other tin can at the other end of the string.
Exactly my intent.
Well done.
Which, I'm not going to say it's never happened, but you're probably on the comm this time.
I'm going to get on the horn
like-
with control. I'm going to get on the horn with control and confirm whether or not anybody's missing a crate.
All right.
Zisha puts down the one tin can and pulls up a different tin can.
Okay, give me a admin, smuggling, whatever role seems like reasonable to get the question through in a amount of time that isn't leave a message and we'll get back to you.
Can I do streetwise?
Sure. Okay, it takes about, 10 minutes or so of what? You've got a crate, you don't want a crate? Why don't you want a crate? It's got rocks in it. Don't you want rocks? We got plenty of rock. Okay, fine. I'll look around, see if anyone has lost a crate of rocks. Why do you even care? No one has
This can
reported.
be happening. This can be
Yes.
happening while the other players are doing stuff.
Okay, so Zorak.
I mean, I'm just waiting for
and-
someone to give me the go-ahead to use a 30-second bomb. And then we can replace this problem with a different problem, which might be someone else's problem, especially if we're ready to leave.
Are you waiting on what Zisha is going to tell you about it? Is the next question, of course.
I'm waiting for either of my fellow crew members to tell me that, yes, I have a good idea. I think it's a good idea. But I know we have to come back here, because one of the passengers wants to come back here.
Mm-hmm. Zorak,
Yes.
do you have any,
I am
you've
waiting
told
to
me...
hear back from Zaisha.
Okay. About the... Yeah, all right. Okay, so after about 10 minutes, you get back that no one has reported this crate missing. This crate is not on any of the... what's the... bill of lading or whatever. It's not on any of the manifests. As far as they're concerned, this crate... Honestly, the number that you've given for the crate isn't even showing up in the databases. It's nobody's crate. It's probably contraband. Do you want the contraband? We don't care.
I want to do something to the contraband.
I will communicate this through to Shvolrak.
Station control or whoever you've talked to does not care what this is. According to them, the crate doesn't even exist in any of the manifests. It's like decommissioned or something, maybe.
Not in the system, not my problem.
Bingo. And if it's not in the system...
Whoever saw fit to sneak this aboard our ship would enjoy feeling it die.
I go and place one of my thimble grenades, which happens to look like a Pokeball. Or, no,
No.
it doesn't. It looks like a red and white sphere. It is distinctly
No
different.
grenade.
No grenade? You don't want to turn the grenade on and
I
close
do
the
not
door?
want it to cover this vestibule in...
It's a small one. We close the lid, and it probably contains everything.
I mean, you can shove it back into the fully into the gravel
Like
and close the lid.
60% chance.
I was going to zap it to death. That is much less likely to get me covered in unidentified goop.
I mean, I've seen some accidents with power reactors, and you'd be surprised about how far that goop can spread. But if you want to zap it, I'm here for you. I'm just going to be here for you while I'm standing directly behind you.
I believe I have to spend fatigue for that too.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me quickly glance at what we were doing with that. Is this my most... I don't think this is my most up-to-date. Curse it. There's my Zappy. There's my Zappy. There's my Zap. No, that's not my Zap. Where the crypt I put my Zap? There's my Zap. We're doing the
This is the weirdest
2d6 per fatigue. 2d6 per 2d6 per fatigue dumped into it.
Oh, is that 2d6 per fatigue?
I'm thinking that should be...
That implies that you can spend more fatigue to do more damage.
Might need to make
I mean,
a
that would
roll
make sense.
per attack, but yeah, well, I'm trying to keep it comparable with the Zappy guns so that it's not completely out of par with the Zappy with your blasters.
I have
So
a
I think-
suggestion.
Let's
This may
hear it.
not be a good suggestion,
Mhm.
but so my suggestion is it requires an attack roll of some kind.
Yep, we got that.
Once it connects, it's like, what is it? Eldritch Blast? No, not Eldritch Blast. The other one, where
Bolt?
it does 2d6, and then every round thereafter, as long as you don't do anything, as long as that's your action,
As long as you maintain it.
as long as you maintain it, it stays connected, and you can you can spend another fatigue and do another 2d6.
I'm willing to do that, and if anything weird happens, especially since this is a non-moving, non-dodging target. If it were dodging, I might make you make another attack roll to maintain the connection while it's jumping around and stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, let me just do a little quick thing to figure out about how many hit points it probably has.
I didn't see that roll again, but what's weird is that all of Jwolrak's rolls are showing as now for the timestamp.
Yeah, they do all have the timestamp of now for me as well.
I'm seeing that too.
We are not in time. It's all time is
Zulrock,
Jwolrak is a force user. Jwolrak exists forward and backward in time.
Zulrock might be from the past, but they are a gift, which is why all of their roles are happening in the present.
Ooh,
They are a what?
A gift.
they are a gift, not a gift.
Hey.
A gift.
I mean,
I'm
if
glad because
you want a GIF, I mean, we've got those too. There's a lot of GIFs if you do a search for Force Lightning.
there are.
Oh, I was thinking of GIF as in a giant space hippo.
Oh,
Yeah.
hold on, I can add one of those to the game.
Yeah.
No lightning space hippos.
Not with that attitude.
How long? Give me a couple more rolls because you have certainly injured it. It's starting to smoke and sort of jerk around a bit, and it's not dead yet. Do it. That'll do it.
The whole time the lightning is continuing and is not dead yet. Rotini's just
Mhm.
standing there with the 30-second bomb going, eh? Eh?
You've got this thing here that you could use to help, but you're not going to, toss that into the lightning. That might go all over.
No, I'm suggesting it, but I am not going to get the explosive anywhere near the lightning because I have a 20 in explosives.
Finally figured out what Rotina reminds me of.
Now the crate may be returned to sender.
Return to sender.
Return to sender.
Address unknown.
I don't know that one, alas.
It's Elvis.
Is Jwolrak reporting this or just saying it out loud?
I assume that Zisha's on the comm.
I mean, someone had to be holding the comms since it wasn't.
Zisha is on about 3 simultaneous comms trying to get clearance to take off.
That one had a whole bunch of the ones that Rotini was holding or Zorak was holding at one before handing it to Rotini. The one Rotini was holding, presumably, had a whole lot of static and crackling on it for a little while, and then well, now returned to sender.
Okay,
So-
is the comms still open?
Yeah, I figure unless
Okay.
someone said they shut it down, no reason not to keep it open. Zorak is going to be down 3 fatigue if that's all right.
Yep, I have
That sound-
been recording that.
Excellent.
Oh, I miss Fred Willard.
That's who's in the
all the
GIF I found
phones.
of multiple phones
Mhm.
being used.
He was an enormously funny man.
Aw.
Fortunately, he didn't die young. He he went out swinging, but yeah, he died a couple years ago.
Oh, okay, you've killed the thing off.
All right, I'm gonna report back to control. All right, well, it's not something we're contracted to carry. It's not something we're getting paid to carry, and the more I carry, the more fuel I got to use. So here's the serial numbers of the droids who brought it here, and they didn't seem particularly inclined to take it back, even though I contacted the client and they said they hadn't sent it. So
Yeah,
I
they
just
don't
wanted
want
to let you know it's sitting in airlock 23, and
What's
you
left
can
of
pick
it
it up
is-
whenever you want.
Sure.
What's left of it is in airlock 23. And some of it might be a little bit outside of airlock 23 and around airlock
Oh
23.
no, the crate when they come to pick it up will be exactly as I described it: gravel with organic contaminants.
This is true.
Indeed. The organic contaminant has been returned to the crate, and the crate closed back up.
And also to the Force.
Yes.
It's weird. It vaporized just like some of those Force users do when they pass away. Pretty sure those Force users don't get
Right, they call it
incinerated.
sort of more
All it left behind
liquidated.
was a fine black dust.
Would Zwolrock care to make another perception roll for grins?
Oh dear.
Just for grins.
What in the world?
Makes by one.
You have a vague sense of foreboding along the lines of someone far away is thinking extremely murderous thoughts about you personally.
Good.
I'm sure you felt this before at least once in your life.
Oh
Rotini
yes.
feels that regularly.
And I approve.
Have I-
Because
Oh, yes, I have.
am thinking extremely displeased thoughts about whoever wanted this thing on this ship. Did everyone stop talking?
We all
I'm just
stopped
playing
talking,
the
and I was
space
about
effect.
to suggest that we take 5.
We've been playing for a couple hours. Yeah, over an hour. So yes, we should
1:29, 11. Yeah, we hit pause.
Yeah, let's take 5.
Let's take 5.
I
We're
have
back.
pressed the button and we're adopting.
Mm-hmm. Zisha has used a serendipity first. Just get that loaded on because she had a spare one left over. She actually cleaned her room sufficiently to stick an Alderanian in it without being incredibly embarrassed by, the vests and clothes all over the floor and the blaster half disassembled. Yeah. No,
You
it's
get the
tidy.
captain's quarters, by which I mean the filthiest room on the ship.
Now,
No,
keep in
no.
mind, Rotini does not have serendipity, which means Rotini has never cleaned his room. He knows where everything is. Of course he does. With an IQ as large as his, he knows where everything is. So long as he rolls IQ -5.
Or even just plain IQ, depending. And also, yes, you're adopting. You've decided that you want to get a factotum droid. And isn't it convenient you're at this gigantic space station where the top is full of all the rich people, and when
I don't
Facto-
like this one's color. Send it
Mhm.
away.
Precisely. And while they do get shuffled around a bit, eventually, people spill wine on it too much, or it gets a little bit difficult to, update all the drivers to put in the new programming so they have the most stylish accent and, 5 different dialects of Huttese or whatever instead of just 3. So you can pick up a used one without pinching your budget beyond everything. It does use up a large portion of the what's the right word? The buffer that you got from delivering that empty stasis tube. But yes, you can totally get that. And you'll have to decide what you are going to name it what designation or what not on your own. It has numbers attached to it, but those might not even actually be its numbers. It all depends on if it's like real quality or if it's, a cheap Huttese knockoff that just looks fancy.
It looks like the numbers have been filed off
And
then
Painted back
reapplied
on. Yeah,
multiple
probably.
times. I imagine
Mhm.
where we go to get the droid, there's a sign on the wall, a poster that says, "Droids are not just for Life Day. Give them a forever home."
Probably.
Okay. Can I
There's a
yes
bunch of
and
droids that are
that?
coming up to the glass and tapping on it. Sorry?
Go ahead and yes and. Sure.
The thing about Crash's thing about the serial numbers having been filed off multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
it would be really convenient if it actually had been a proper model that had been being sold as a Hut knockoff.
Someone got a proper model that fell off a truck, quote, cough, cough.
Yes, exactly.
I will
and then
give you...
through several generations of filing off, nobody recognized the actual quality.
Their outer plating had to be reinforced because it had been filed off so many times that they filed their way through.
Yeah, that one plate which holds the serial number had to be replaced.
I'm going to give you the proper model, but I'm going to give it a little bit of a secret backstory just for my own amusement.
Okay. Hey, serendipity works the way the GM says serendipity works. And I am perfectly happy to use C2D4 or CSD4.
CSD4?
Are we all good with that?
I'm okay with that.
that.
Computer Science Document 4.
Rochini, will you please give this droid a once-over, and please don't add any explosives or weapons or anything.
I love the idea that this conversation is happening within earshot of the droid.
There. All right. So have you used both your serendipities?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Excellent. Yes, I like this. Thank you. Serendipity is fun. Okay. So
Serendipity is fun, especially when sessions last a couple in-game hours.
Mm-hmm. This is true, and you can use it
specify
again.
how long we were electrocuting a bug.
A few rounds, that's all, or a few seconds. I mean, that's some nice damage. So you're going to do a once-over on the droid and not... Is the droid awake when it's delivered? Does the droid deliver itself?
That's up to the droid, by which I mean a GM.
The droid may, in fact, have delivered itself. Yes, you're going through your flight checks, and you get a buzz of the buzz comm unit that is down at the entry to the access tunnel. You sort of buzz, 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 buzz.
Sorry.
Okay, so when the door goes buzz, buzz, I open it, look at the droid, and say, Utini, which translates into my Uratol one, but also,
Utini!
Where's our pizza?
The droid says, Utini, 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 which would translate as, I was not told to bring pizza, only myself. Is this the Bucephalus?
Utini, this is the Bucephalus. Utini, it is such a joy to have someone who speaks a civilized language. Utini,
Utini, Utini.
I have been told
Utini.
to promise not to install...
billion. I am fluent in over 4 billion methods of communication, including, oh my god, I've lost it, Jawa.
Yes,
Jawa'ese.
does it know JavaScript?
Unclear. You'll have to ask. It does apologize
pad
if
and
it's
paper.
JavaScript is a more common, if inferior, form of the language, which is in fact unrelated to Java.
I love that the pun works on multiple levels. It's glorious. Oh, this is wonderful. Come on in. Don't worry, I'm not installing any explosives in you yet. Maybe later.
Oh, excellent. That promise has been made before. I hope that you will keep it.
On that note, I've been asked to give you a once-over just to make sure everything is in tip-top shape.
Of course. Please examine any parts you need to.
I previously rolled a 10, which beats my electronics repair by 9.
The droid is in adequate shape. This does look like a droid that was...
Passable shape.
Yes.
Someone
has been
shape,
skimping
yes.
on the maintenance.
It
is in a shape. The shape is humanoid.
Involved. It is not a platonic solid, which is ideal.
Mm-hmm. But not ideal for the job. It is shaped like a humanoid.
It is ideal for it to not be an ideal platonic solid, because then it would not be able to do its job.
Indeed.
Or deliver itself.
It looks like someone has been skimping on the maintenance for the past few months. But before that, this is very high quality work. This looks like it's got its own original memory processors in here. Its brain looks, wow, this is really high quality stuff.
Brain? What is brain?
The original? The droid brain.
Ah. And there's some gunk underneath the restraining bolt, but when I clean it out, the holographic image appears, and I say, well, that's not important, and I erase it immediately.
Oh, no. It doesn't actually have a restraining bolt on. Apparently, it's not being restrained at the moment. This may be someone's idea of cutting corners. This may be because it's just very polite and,
CSD4
it looks like
unchained.
What would it do with... Yes, so the point is, does not appear to have a restraining bolt on it. Unclear why. There does look like it's had restraining bolts in the past. It has very high quality components. You're really not sure what its serial number is. It looks like that's been sanded over like 2 or 3 times, and it's had a little plate put over it, and then the plate's been taken off it, and someone has carefully painted in one. But aside from that,
like somebody used a grease pencil to write another one on top of the other one.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Anyway, I'm annoyed at some of the maintenance that has taken place, or more precisely, has not taken place involving our new acquisition. And
are you being vocal about this?
Have you ever known me not to be? Not all of those Otinis are translatable because I want to keep this podcast clean. But yes.
Otini.
Yes. I say this while I'm like swapping out parts and like pulling out something that looks like it was fried, but there was a redundancy, so it didn't need to be replaced, but it should have been replaced. Anyway, yes.
If D4 needs maintenance, go ahead and take it back to engineering and put it in the oil bath for a little bit. Is it it? Do you prefer a different pronoun?
Whichever pronoun my owner requests is the pronoun that I shall use. Sir, ma'am, captain, master?
Captain. And let's call you they. If they need maintenance, take them back to the oil bath and engineering and give them a once over. I think the engines are going pretty good for right now, and it's time for me to lift off.
Utini.
Rollrock, you on the ship?
Indeed.
All right, let's get out of here. I'll head back to the cockpit while Rotini takes D4 back to the oil baths in engineering.
Utini, which
I'm assuming there are oil baths in engineering.
Well, when I say Utini this time, I say, now, I know that you're used to a certain design of oil bath, but space is kind of tight on this ship, so I designed a centrifugal oil bath. It's a bit cramped, but it spins you really fast.
Dear.
Oh my. Yeah. I have only ever once been spun right round like a record.
Baby, right round.
Granted, we didn't have a droid until now, so I've mostly been using it to crush cans for recycling.
Oh dear.
Well, I hope you do not press that button.
Oh no, I have to press the button. I just won't press it as many times.
Ah, I understand.
The idea that Rotini uses something that spins so fast that it creates a G-force strong enough to crush cans for recycling is very amusing to me.
Makes mad engineers do things when they're bored.
I'll have you know that I was only upset when I saw the lack of care that was used, or not used for that matter, on CSD4. Otherwise, I am a happy scientist, not a mad one.
You don't need to show them all the...
I get a delightful grin on my face every time one of my inventions works as intended.
And most of your inventions are explosive.
I don't see why you have to bring that up.
How are we doing? Rotini, how are we doing back in engineering?
Just imagine as a reply, over top of the Utini that you get, you hear the sound of something spinning very quickly.
You're going to traumatize that poor droid.
And you hear a slapping sound, followed by, "This droid can hold so much rust, let me tell you."
All right, everybody, we're going to be taking off, and for about 5 minutes, there's going to be some acceleration, and then we'll be in hyperspace.
From the various places you have stashed your passengers, there is the sound of a, "Okay, I'm hanging on," and, "Oh, very good. I'm sitting down right now.
All right.
Give us a piloting roll.
As I recall, Zisha says this every time, but it's not necessary to
Pretty
say.
much. Yeah.
Be necessary, but, you know.
Oh, I really hope that passed. Yes, it did. Okay.
Yep. Made it by 3. You have a good piloting skill. Hey. You lift off. It's an easy thing. After all, there's not much gravity. You're not, having to dodge a whole bunch of stuff. Nobody's shooting at you. It's almost trivial. So you get into position. You get ready for the hyperspace jump. Everything seems to be going on. Mm-hmm.
Control, this is Bucephalus leaving orbit and entering hyperspace. Have an excellent day, and I hope you fill the spot soon.
Safe trip, Bucephalus. Come back soon.
3, 2, 1, hyperspace.
All the little zoomy streaks of light.
Shooting stars.
We
The
go to
Screensaver
flag.
comes on.
Yes, the screensaver
the After
comes
Dark
on.
screensaver comes on. Flying toasters fill the screen. Oh wait, no,
Mighty
wrong
toaster
button.
wings.
Bum, brum, brum, bum, bum.
Dee, dee, dee. I will not play Mighty Toaster Wings on this. It's probably trademarked or something. We don't want copyrighted. We don't want Crash to get in trouble. Yes,
Okay, everyone, we're in hyperspace, and you are free to move about the cabin.
there are little sounds of thank yous from the other ends of the comm. And let's see.
I'm going to go ahead and hang out in the lounge at 10 for a little while.
Okay.
So you go to 10 forward.
Yes.
Oh, my stars. Did they actually
Yes, they
label
did.
that?
They labeled it 10, and it's in the
They
forward
did.
part of the ship.
Label?
I'm going to be playing solitaire on the game table until somebody shows up.
Space Solitaire. I would say that at this point, our droid friend is in the spin cycle of the oil bath, but it's all the spin cycle. But it's winding down. The oil's being drained out and filtered.
Don't mind me. I'll just make sounds like our washing machine a bit. Okay.
I hand them a towel on
The-
their way out.
Researcher is... The droid is probably just going to sit there and wait for someone to tell them what to do. You have an Alderanian wandering around, poking at everything, or at least peering at it, not necessarily poking it very hard. The Alderanian is basically wandering around the public hallways, not opening any doors, but definitely peering at anything that is actually peerable at, and not quite poking buttons or anything, just sort of wandering around going, oh my, look at this, how fascinating, how rustic, how quaint. Your researcher passenger is apparently still in the cargo hold with the rocks, and
That's a good sign.
it's free time. Yeah, it's basically free time. What are PCs going to be doing? Interact among yourselves.
I'm going
I'm
to
playing
mutter
solitaire
Utini.
until somebody else shows up.
I'm going to mutter Utini just once, which is to say it's not rustic, it's vintage. Okay, counterfeit vintage, but never mind. Took a lot of work to make it look good.
Utani, Utana. If you mutter it where it can be noted by the little Alderanian there, well, not little from your point of view, about average biped. It's Utani, Utino, Utino. In this sort of I am clearly speaking your language, aren't you delighted, little creature?
Oh my gosh, they speak terrible Jawa. They sound like a Wookiee.
Yep. Uta. This they have all the attitude of someone who, when the cat meows at them, they're saying back meow. Meow, meow, meow. Cat goes,
Instead of saying
"Meow."
use your words.
Yes, this is the Alderanian. Instead of saying use your words, they're going meow, meow back. The cat goes meow, brr, meow. And they go, oh, meow, meow, purr, purr, meow, meow.
Wait, hold on. I don't see what's wrong with what you're describing. I do see what's wrong with them mispronouncing Utini repeatedly within my earshot.
Mm-hmm. They don't seem to be aware they're mispronouncing it terribly. Or perhaps they
Okay,
think it means
customer.
something
They're a paying customer. We need to be kind. We're a paying customer. We need to approach this with understanding and kindness. I may take my newfound ability, and by newfound, I mean I rolled high enough on an intelligence check, don't have any skill in it whatsoever, of meditation to meditate on all the ways I could replace every item of their luggage with something that will explode within 3 to 5 days of them leaving the ship. I will not act on these
Oh
plans.
my! You have
making the plan.
You have such a unique understanding of Jawa. May I sit with you for a moment so that I may understand the way you speak Jawa? I have never heard it before.
Zisha,
I'm going to be meditating in my quarters.
No, this is
concerned that they seem to be wandering into engineering.
This is CSD4.
probably wandering out. Oh, excellent, a protocol droid.
CSD4, I know 2 billion forms of communication.
And
I
you
don't
are
know
speaking
any
in a language
Jawa
I don't
whatsoever.
know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know any Jawa whatsoever, but the aliens are so pleased when you at least try to meet them where they're coming from.
By the way, I failed on an
I
IQ
understand
check.
entirely.
I am
Oh,
not
no.
meditating well.
No, you're doing your best.
No, I am not. I am clearly not.
You're doing someone's best?
A
Jawa is
lesser
such a
person's
fascinating
best.
language.
Mhm.
Did you know that they communicate partially by smell?
Oh my, I better go get some of my perfumes. Yes, I shall go wander.
Ah,
That way I can
indeed, madame.
Oh
Sorry,
dear, I'm not a
madame
bat.
was the wrong. C2D4 CSD4 would not have made that mistake.
It is very unclear what gender or pronouns, no one has asked, our dear, we have 2 of them? Okay. Our dear Telmer uses, but they are wandering off to apparently go back and grab some perfumes, and they will come back, and unfortunately they are going to come back smelling of something.
For the
And
record,
completely incomprehensible.
for the record, it is quite likely that while a Jawa would be able to pick up on the subtle differences in odor that emanate from Rotini when Rotini is speaking, Rotini's primary scent is that of some type of accelerant. It
I
varies
thought you were
depending
heading
on
in
the
a different
day.
direction with that.
Sorry.
I was going to make a joke. Everybody else go forward, please.
I was going to make a joke,
I was
but
going to
instead
say
I'm going to
that Rotini is always telling other Jawas that he is an engineer. Very loudly.
This would be definitely
That's
true
fair.
if Rotini wanted anything to do with other Jawas. There were other Jawas on that station that were interested in leaving. Rotini had no interest in taking that job. And maybe someday people will know why.
Indeed.
It's quite possible.
And yes, you do. Mm-hmm. That's possible. It has to do with large craters somewhere. Who knows?
I will not confirm nor deny that when I say that bridge is burned, that I'm being literal. Depends on the definition of burned, and the definition of bridge, and the definition of is.
Oh dear. Anyway, yes, you do actually have an Alderanian who's poking around and there's the engineering console there and is just sort of peering at all of the blinking lights and
Oh my gosh. I just had a thought. And by I just had a thought, I mean Rotini just had this thought.
I'm concerned.
Rotini stops attempting to meditate. Rotini's been doing a bad job of it. Rotini runs into the cockpit. Breathlessly runs into the cockpit, sits down in the co-pilot
Through all the
seat.
walls.
Through all the walls.
I face through solid matter and bulkheads and through the vacuum of space to arrive in the cockpit. Just sort of rise up through the floor into the seat, knocking a few things off of it because Rotini never sits in this chair, so I'm certain that Zisha has been using it to place things, like wrappers from
Data pads.
Space McDonald's or something, I don't know. And then immediately
Zisha
checks...
cleaned up.
Zisha cleaned her room.
Okay, fair.
In any case, Joking bits aside, Rotini ran into the cockpit to check the dashboard for that one readout that mentions how often that one button with the sign that says don't press this has been pressed. We mentioned it. I'm doing a callback. Yes, it was meant to be silly, but also I wanted it to be canon. Has that button been pressed?
Well, where did you put the button?
Well, the button we mentioned was in the sonic shower.
Hmm.
Which sonic shower?
Yes.
Actually,
There are at least 2 of them.
There really ought to be more.
Redundancy is important when it comes to showers and shiny buttons with do not press signs.
I'm going to rule that the tiny little fresher that is up next to the cockpit with the spare beds there in that little side room is the whole room can become a sonic shower. You close the door, you close all of the lids, and you press the sonic shower button, and you get a sonic shower there. Yeah, it's an all-in-one tiny thing.
As a bonus, you don't have to do a lot of work to clean the toilet.
Pretty much.
That or
you leave that.
Hold your breath while you do the sonic shower because the toilet is also self-cleaning at that moment.
It's probably at least hygienic and safe. So whatever it is, it's not too awful. Hopefully.
But wherever this button happens to be, wherever this button happens to be, it has been established through what you were doing with the token that this person's walking all over the ship. They were going through engineering. They're going everywhere. They were told they're allowed to walk around the cabin. They have defined the ship as the cabin. They
have not gone through any closed doors except the one into their temporary quarters. That much they have at least not done. They have walked around the ship and they have looked at everything that doesn't have a door.
I just want to see.
They have looked at the doors.
I just want to see if they press the button that says don't press this.
Amazingly, it appears they have not.
Rotini
bum, bum, bum.
Has a mix of emotions. He doesn't know how to process this. On one hand, he's very proud of this person who has shown more self-control that even Rotini has. And with how overconfident Rotini is very confident that Rotini has a lot of self-control.
Indeed.
Just don't look at Rotini's flaws. But on the other hand, Rotini was hoping that he would have this moment to laugh at this one thing, and he can't.
What a frustrating, annoying passenger. What is Rocky, Zwolrock up to?
Well, from the map, it appears the answer is trying to figure out if the passenger is trying to go into places where
they shouldn't.
Yeah, like engineering.
So far, no. There's just that little engineering console that's out in the main hallway that you can look at the readouts without actually having to go in and, maybe be irradiated or whatever. Because that appears to be marked as a engineering console instead of engineering proper.
There may or may not be at least one door that has a sign
engineering.
on it.
I can't figure out where.
Well, the other engineering is 19.
16. Okay, yeah.
16 and 19 are engineering proper. So, yeah. Basically, that's the place that you look to see if there's anything going wrong. And if there's anything going wrong, you open the big doors and you putter around and look at and go into the place. But if there's nothing going on that's bad, why should you go in there? Besides, sometimes it gets used as spare cargo storage space because that's where they stick a big cargo lift there.
There might be one door at least that has a sign on it that says Wampa Room.
They have not gone through that door.
It's marked 7 on the map.
The Wampa Room is marked 7? That's the port airlock. I mean, that would be the equivalent of having a large, cold hand reaching out and grabbing you and pulling you through quickly if you went through it.
Indeed.
Rather, best not to. Telmer will eventually notice that Zwolrock appears to be looking at them. Blink, blink. Take in Zwolrock's bright, shiny clothing. Oh,
I would say shiny is only one of the textures.
Is it a consistent one? It's certainly bright, vivid. Hypercolor. Mm-hmm. Probably. Oh my, you've been that's a fascinating fashion statement. Oh, are you a Deveronian, perchance?
I am uncertain what a Deveronian is, so I would guess not.
We met one. His name is Mo.
We did not.
I didn't say
you might have seen a few.
You met him. I said we met him. We just means one more person than Rotini.
I mean, I'm sure, obviously that's who is running the droid place. No, I might want to use him later. You've probably seen Deveronians, but since you haven't been identifying what various species are... Oh, not a Deveronian. A Zabrak. Yes?
No, I do not have horns.
Oh. Well, I didn't know if you were maybe not using them. Some people, they aesthetic surgery. Well, Triple fours, ethereal intervention. No, wait. Wrong game.
The temptation to go up and tell them that Rocky is in fact just a very tall Jawa is intense and tempered only by the fact that Rotini knows if Rotini tries to say this, they will spend the next 5 minutes attempting to speak Jawa with their perfume.
Mm-hmm.
So Rotini will continue to listen from a distance.
So as not to get spritzed by perfume.
Possibly over a comm system.
Is there something you need?
Oh, no, I'm quite self-entertaining. I'm very easy as a guest that way. Am I not in the right part of the ship? I haven't gone through any doors. Do you know where the rest of my luggage is? Am I allowed to go get any of my luggage if I need to?
I assumed we put all of their luggage in their room.
They had too much luggage for just their room. Most of their luggage is in the starboard.
It's in 15.
Yep. The starboard cargo bay.
And webbed in place that can be retracted if necessary.
Well, eventually I'm going to need to change clothes.
Indeed.
Must be the security. You have that look about you. Mm-hmm. Definitely have that look about you. No sense of fun, no sense of humor, good security. I shall not clap you on the shoulder as a gesture of friendship.
A cloud of glitter may or may not erupt.
I appreciate this.
Was that Crash?
A cloud of glitter might erupt from the shoulder if attempted.
Crash,
entirely.
Just checking in here. The droid that we hired is actually CSD4.
CSD4.
C2D4. C2D4 is the prototype that demonstrated that CSD4 was a reasonable name.
Okay.
C2D4 is a companion on the Republic ships in Switor.
Yes.
Okay. I am going to have to do some fiddling here, but I will take care of that. CSD4.
I can take care of it. CSD4.
Just letting you know.
As you try to take care of it, you will probably notice the same problem that I encounter, which is why I'm going to fiddle with it. But that's okay. Rotini's just listening to this conversation, so...
I do have a sense of fun and humor, but not while I am administering my duties. And Zwolrock sort of leans forwards a little bit in something that's not exactly a bow, as they say, administering my duties. And I say this because I leaned forwards doing that and then realized that no one could see it.
That's all right. I've been gesturing in midair. So it's like, oh, yes. Yes, very dutiful, very dutiful. I'm sure you're going to be on duty all the time that a visitor is around. Perhaps when we get back to Alderaan, I can take you to some little cantina or something and see if you have some fun off duty. If there are any cantinas left, they're rebuilding them. They're rebuilding them. That's why I can go home, you see.
I just had a realization.
Yes?
And now
Yeah.
I'm looking. Never mind. I'm
Uh-oh.
just sort of thinking that this person might be associated with House Thule.
House Thule is exiled right now. How could they possibly be associated with House Thule?
Well, the statement that now they can go home. But of course, in character, I do not know anything about any House Thules.
That's right.
And
Similar-
I don't
possibly
think any of
not
us
even
do.
know where Alderaan is.
What's an Alderaan?
Depending
is
on
no
whether I
house,
have
only
looked
Zool.
at a map of where we're going. If I have not
Zisha
seen a map
just-
of... Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, Zisha just barely knows that Alderaan exists.
Alderaan. Alderaan is actually a fairly important planet. It was one of the first founding Republic worlds and has never let anyone forget this fact ever.
Yeah,
So
but I just rolled a 14 against a 14 with an area knowledge in core systems.
it exists. It's one of the it's one of the early founding members of the Republic, and actually, area knowledge is probably a good one.
I assume that Zisha doesn't know a whole lot about Alderaan simply because Alderaan, as far as she knows, doesn't do a whole lot of smuggling.
That much, no. Although if you can smuggle things out of there, it's got some good stuff. It's got high quality stuff. But yeah, no. Actually, give me another area knowledge roll because a 14 is making you remember something vaguely. If you want to be pondering about all of this, I'm sure you can hear the conversation going on.
Frankly, It's across the ship from where I am. But
yeah, but it's a dinky ship.
Hey.
Okay, it's not dinky ship.
But let me put it this way. I am certain, based solely on how Telmer is being portrayed, that the phrasing indoor voice means absolutely nothing to them.
They are talking like this.
No, they're talking like this. They're not really talking from the chest. They're talking much higher up through the throat and a bit in the nose.
Oh, they're talking like this.
Yes.
And every now and then when they're talking, not constantly, very rarely, but every now and then, they hit a note that shares a resonant frequency with some of the materials used in the ship construction.
Occasionally.
I say.
And, Zisha, you can remember, wait a minute, wasn't Alderaan invaded and held by the Empire for a while recently? Huh. Maybe they actually kicked them off again. Oh well, it's probably not important.
Well, good for them, or I'm sorry, I'm not reading all that. Anyway, I'm letting other characters have their fun.
I don't know, does Zwolrock think it's fun?
Considering that Zwolrock has xenophilia, Zwolrock probably thinks it's fun, but is also slightly baffled as to how anyone confused them with a Zabrak.
Well, you're red.
You can't just assume everyone who's red is a Zabrak.
I didn't say that they were very
That was out of character.
clever. Yes, well.
Hola, ¿qué pasa? Oh, I've always wanted to go to Italy.
Yeah.
Does anyone here speak ancient Greek?
Yes.
Not the answer I was expecting, but also CSD4 is in this hallway.
Damn it, there's not the little gif that I had a while back of the Borg cube versus the Death Star. Well, Borg cubes. You've got this cube, you've got the Death Star blows up the Borg cube, you've got more cubes that show up, and the Death Star tries to blow them up, but they've adapted, so, then you have the Death Star exit pursued by Borg cubes. But anyway, that's probably, well, I don't know, depending on what you all are doing. Telmer can have a lovely conversation, which basically, while they're a noble, apparently, obviously, the way they're dressed, they're happy to be able to go home. They hope everything is still the way they left it. It's been a while. really, what species are you? They feel like they ought to recognize it, but they just can't. Oh, what a lovely protocol droid. Is this protocol droid something that showed up just for them on their account? How kind of the captain.
Zolak actually does have an answer to the species question, and it is along the lines of, let it simply be said that I cannot return home either.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Was your planet invaded too?
Yes.
Oh, brutes, all of them.
Probably not fool then.
Indeed.
Absolute brutes, the lot of them. I'm so sorry. It's a hard thing to know that you can't go back home. I hope that the soldiers go and kick those brutes off your planet sometime soon.
It would be rather a bit too late for that.
Oh dear. Was there bombing? I've heard they did such things.
Rotini had nothing to do with it. Rotini is not saying that Rotini had nothing to do with it. Rotini is not calling attention to Rotini and bombs.
Zisha's cooking a nice dinner for everyone?
She is indeed.
Call everyone to dinner. Are you going to call your researcher to dinner out of the cargo hold where no one has told her she can leave?
I assume she wanted to take a nap.
Well, possibly, yes.
I assume she's been taking a nap for about 6 hours.
Hopefully.
She did say she wanted to sleep.
True enough.
I will send CSD4 to find out whether she is available and presentable. If she is sleeping soundly, don't disturb her. If she is awake in any sense, let her know there's a meal ready.
Yes, of course, Captain.
I like how
You
you're using
can
the
get
arrow
your-
keys to move CSD4 to the right door instead of doing what I was doing and just dragging the character there so you see them go in a straight line through bulkheads.
I am being good. Yes, if food is in the offing, you can get Telmer to show up. After a bit, yes, you will in fact get a bedraggled-looking, scruffy researcher who looks
Bleary researcher.
A bleary researcher who has dragged her fingers through her hair, maybe instead of a comb, and sort of, the droid thought I should eat something since I, woke up. It's a little quieter here.
Well, I'm glad you've been resting. I've cooked something up. I'm about to put the platter on the game table. Feel free to dig in.
Thanks. Oh, hi. Oh my, there's more people. Yeah. Your passengers have just now encountered each other and, Teeny?
You know what? I'm going to say Nedra has got a slightly better accent. However,
Clearly has no idea what you're saying.
well, it's the wrong verb conjugation for that particular noun. And also, where would you put the hacksaw?
Mm-hmm. Telmer. Oh, yes, Utino. Spritz.
If you have a hacksaw that you need to dispose of, I will be more than happy to recycle it. I'm having a ridiculous amount of fun being D4.
Rotini
Fussy
is
little
just going
droids.
to sip a little bit of his tea that he's having with this meal.
Is there not a hacksaw?
The tea is in a cup that says, "My other mug explodes."
Very well. I will be on standby if you need me.
Utini. Rotini waves.
Oh, so I seem to have somebody selected when I rolled. Oh, okay.
CSD4
Okay.
goes into compartment 6.
Hmm?
Is this live support?
Oh.
The pun, the joke on the mistake that led to us saying, "Let's get a droid." Yes, it took a while, but we got there.
So somebody is thinking far away, very, very upset thoughts about you. Anyway,
Why am I rolling?
the
Did you
GM
roll
rolled.
for me?
It
Yes.
was accidental.
Oh, okay.
That's what the GM said, yes. But anyway, someone far away is in fact thinking really bad thoughts about you. There's a great deal of murderous intent. It's far away. It's very
And
far
going
away.
farther, I hope.
It's about the same far away as it was before.
The rest of the session will just be the GM saying, "Warmer, Warmer, colder, colder, warmer.
Oh, I don't know. There's probably not much else to do about now unless anyone's going to do something incredibly dramatic. So, is anyone going to do anything dramatic?
I might belch after the meal.
I am
Drama.
literal cooking for the rest of the journey.
I am the normal level of dramatic.
Zisha is cooking top tier meals for the rest of this trip.
Made by 8 sounds like you could basically whip up a whole bunch of stuff and, put in the freezer or something there.
Yeah.
This is not just
Zisha
your
finally knows what she's doing.
This is not just your rehydrated fare.
I love that one of the things you did when spending points that we earned
Was increase my cooking.
Was increase your cooking so that we can have a moment like this where you're just, if you ever retire from being a captain, you're opening a restaurant.
Mhm.
Or at least a diner.
I will help you build it. After all, you need to get rid of the building that was there before.
And then in 3,000 years, Dexter Jetster will be working there.
I got that.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about Dex's Diner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's on Coruscant. You'd have to retire to there, wouldn't you?
You wouldn't have to.
I think that's Coruscant. Yeah. Well, I mean, to build that diner.
I mean, by the time that I'm thinking about retiring, it's going to be a war zone. But
yeah,
soldiers got to eat.
It's true. Soldiers got to eat. An army marches on its belly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they march very fast if they do that, though. Most of them have legs.
It depends on the species. Depends on the species.
Yeah, but huts don't tend to march. They tend to get carried.
Mm-hmm. They've been known to slither.
The thing is, you don't want to open a diner so good that the soldiers refuse to march further.
Anyway. So
everybody gets their dinner.
Everyone gets their dinner, and people will go back to their beds or quarters after, or perhaps chat, or the usual. But we should probably close on this.
JR has joined.
Yes, you stuck JR in.
I was thinking if there's going to be waving, JR should be present.
JR is certainly going to be identified as a droid.
JR wave.
As opposed to X, who particles. The blue bits that come up and...
I got it.
Oh.
What species is Telmer again?
Human.
Okay. And
as far as I know, we've got 2 human passengers.
Okay.
Yep.
For some reason, I thought that they weren't both human, but whatever.
Nope, they're both human.
Okay.
They're both human. The Miralukan was the one who sent the gravel and did not come along.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I was thinking one of them wasn't human. We did have a non-human client, but they're not coming along on the trip.
Right, they just sent rocks. They have merely sent rocks, and they apparently are not the one who sent the organic thing that you people killed.
We just made it slightly less organic.
Oh, it's still organic. Carbon is
It's still organic. I just object to you people. I had no input in this.
Well, 2 of you were present.
Yes.
I was perfectly happy to let Control deal with it.
2 of us were very interested in ending its existence in its current form. One of us acted on that. The other is trying to not be miffed that their advice was not taken.
Which is astonishing. Given Zisha's past interactions with Rotini, it's astonishing that Rotini was not the one to end this creature's life.
When you have a friend, we can argue about how close we are as friends, but never mind. When you have a friend that can throw lightning from their fingertips, you let them kill the thing.
It's sort of like letting the Wookiee win.
Yes, I do
but
appreciate...
then Rotini doesn't get to shout Utini, which means fire in the hole.
Alas.
Also,
regardless of whether there's a hole,
there will be,
whether in fact an explosion in the place, whether the explosion, regardless of whether there's a hole, and regardless of whether the explosion in that place is a desirable explosion.
Fire in the
Trying to avoid holes in the ship was part of the impetus for Swolrock doing this and Rotini not.
You were pretty far away from the ship. There wouldn't have been a hole in the ship.
Well, holes in the vestibule.
Yeah,
The GM and I sat down and figured out how many of a variety of sizes of explosives I have at my disposal, and I assure you, it would have been a smaller explosion. Max
I
range
understand.
of damage 2 meters.
I'm just entertained by the idea of Rotini standing in the cargo bay of our ship, frankly, in orbit, and shouting, "Fire in the hole," in 4 different directions before dropping a tungsten rod from orbit.
This may
That's-
have actually happened on at least one occasion, but that
Which is
a
why
tale
you're
for
no
another
longer
time.
welcome in Tatooine.
One of the reasons.
Oh no, the reason why I'll need to write this up and share this, but it's a much more personal touch. The bridge was not burned from orbit.
Oh, okay.
Or we should at
The
least
bridge-
say,
The bridge was not even burned by Molotov cocktail. The bridge was burned by personally dousing the bridge in gasoline and then
And
lighting
then sitting
a match.
there with a matchbook going well, that match head just came off entirely. Get another one. Smash cut, the sun is going down.
It's the only time that the fire of that bridge burning is the only time anyone has ever seen a Jawa grin.
Okay, so as I found this GIF, because of course I had to find the Simpsons one, it turns out that that is not how Rotini would burn a bridge. But there is a GIF of how Rotini would burn the bridge.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
shit.
correct.
Sounds about right. Yep. So, does anyone have anything to plug?
Eo's
Nope,
mom writes
because-
books.
Oh, right.
Because my ship is entirely space-worthy. There is
I'll have you
nothing
kn-
to plug, and we reach our hyperspace destination exactly as we entered hyperspace, except that we're a couple days older.
Brain hurts.
I did retrofit the ship to allow for MagSafe charging.
Well, that's really useful. Thank you.
Granted, it is through a single, it's through traditional MagSafe cable. So you plug in a USB into the wall outlet, and then you just attach a single magnet. It will take several thousand years to charge the ship from 85% capacity to 90% capacity. But it's the principle of the thing. But while you're waiting for it to charge, you could go to elizabeth-mccoy.com and check out some books. And by check out, I
Indeed.
mean
There's
purchase, not check out like a library. You can go to a library
Well-
and get them, though.
That's right. They're ebooks. You have to ask the library to get the ebooks. And if you go to the Smashwords place, most of them are like 45% to 50% sample size. So you can sample a lot of it before you figure out whether or not you like it. And speaking of Patreons,
Utini.
Eo's
Utini.
right, Mom Books.
Utini. Utini. AaronBSmith.com/cogwheel. Utini. Patreon.com/cogwheelgaming. Utini. Chris, Ellie, Eric, Shen, Walter, and Utini Emeritus, Cindy.
aw. Until next time, we'll go, oh,
Oh, my
gracious.
goodness.
Do it, Ellie. Do it.
I hadn't realized you had done that entirely in Jawa. Until next time, this is CSD4 saying, well, I hope we make it to our destination successfully.
Good night, everyone. Press the button.
Good night. And
Utini.
I will have your room cleaned in the morning.
Utini.
You won't even know I was there.
Utini. Which translates to, what's with the shovel? You know.
That is a standard part of my accoutrement.